What's up, YouTube? This, I'm sure no one's watching as of yet. Actually, I can tell if people are watching or not. Um, but so this is really just a test. This is just a test. I've been away from my channel for a long, long time. So this is basically a test to check the sound, make sure everything's good. But I'm just excited to be back online. I've been away for a while. Now, this is my first YouTube live. This is my absolute first YouTube live. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you're checking in from. Hopefully, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on here, but we're going to go as long as there's people watching. So let's get this thing started. As you guys know, maybe you don't know, my name is Joshua Black, the urban black vegan. I like to call myself America's favorite black vegan superhero. And tonight, what we're talking about, let me make sure I can hear everything. Okay, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Okay, sounds good. And tonight, what we're talking about is leveling up your veganism. Leveling up your veganism. Now, one of the reasons I've been away for so long is I became disillusioned with the whole vegan movement, especially us black vegans. Now, I might hurt some feelings, but I'm I'm not going to apologize for that because we got to get real with this. Because see, the whole thing is that all I would see and all I see is people doing this vegan thing, and it's all about recipes. That's all I ever see. Recipes, recipes, recipes. My whole thing is to think outside of that vegan plate. There's so much more going on than just recipes. Please understand, there's so much more going on than just recipes. So, what I wanted to get on here and start a discussion about is leveling up. If you're vegan or you just started or wherever you are, but especially if you've been doing this for a minute, what's the next step? But the fact is that you don't eat dairy, you got the food thing down. What else are you doing? Are you doing stuff for your community? Are you doing things for your are you doing things to better the community, better the environment, better the planet? Or are you just sitting back, chilling, or just being cool with, yo, I'm doing my thing, and you're being selfish about your whole vegan journey? And when I say selfish, I'm talking about all you worry about is the food on your plate when there's all this other stuff. See, I believe a lot of people are a little misguided when it comes to veganism. They believe that being vegan is just about the food, but it's not. I do believe that veganism is about health, totally about health. But let me explain. It's the health of the planet, it's the health of the environment, it's your personal health, it's the health of the animals. And when I say animals, I'm including human animals as well. So it's all about health. Oh, hey, Brooklyn. I'm glad someone just checked in to let me know that they can hear me. Thank you so much. This is my first um, live on YouTube, and I hope to do them more. Actually, every Tuesday at 7:05, we're going to have a YouTube live. The channel is back. The Urban Black Vegan, the Broccoli Boy Wonder. We are back. But let me continue because this is important. Because I want to really address and speak to a lot of vegans who kind of stop short of really embracing the whole vegan vibe. And when I say the vegan vibe, I'm talking about being vegan in its totality, you know, because a lot of times we get caught up with just doing one thing, which is being mindful of what we eat or being mindful of what other people eat. And what ends up happening is that we're just taking pictures of food. We're chasing the latest fad, be it the latest burger, Beyond Burger, or any of those Frankenstein foods. And then we're taking pictures and we're just like, we believe like we've arrived. I'm doing this vegan thing. I claim the title. You start calling yourself, but are you really vegan if you don't touch on the environment? For instance, it's so interesting. I had came across this post. I belong to a lot of Facebook groups. I came across this post that talked about that asked the question, what type of vegan are you? Are you a green vegan? Are you an ethical vegan? Are you a I don't know, all these different. I was like, what this is what's the problem. We start to feed into this subcategories of veganism. It, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. If you're vegan, just be vegan and embrace all of all that comes with that title. It's pretty heavy to call yourself a vegan, you know, and to be honest with you, you can call yourself what you want. I don't I'll If you want to call yourself vegan, so be it. But for me, I take this thing seriously. This is my 10th year of being vegan, right? I'm going into my 10th year. July 4th will be 10 years on the dot. And that's one reason why I want to jump back on here and really talk about it. Now, please believe, now in my journey, I started out for health reasons, personal health reasons. But as this journey grew, I started to understand that it's health is more than just me, what's going on inside me. It's the health of my community, it's the health of my environment. It's all of this stuff. In a healthy environment, a healthy community, a healthy planet helps me personally and helps you too. So I really want to ask the question, if you are vegan, you've been vegan for maybe more than 6 months or so, and you think I got this food thing under control, I'm doing it. What's next in this new year? How are you going to level up your level of veganism? What are you doing? What's the next thing? Oh, hey, from St. Louis. Yes, I am back. You can look for more videos. Oh, please be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I do Facebook Live on Mondays, and then I come back on Tuesdays to do a YouTube Live. I'm not going to do them simultaneously because there's just way too much going on for that. So I'm glad to be back, and I've been gone for maybe a year, but we're going to change that because I think that there's a need to speak some real stuff. You know, like it's cool to have recipes and to talk recipes, how to make, amazing things you can do with chickpeas and all that. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. But we had to have more than discussions around what I ate in a day. I know that's popular on YouTube. How do I, how do I live my day as a vegan? I mean, that's all cool, but let's really dig deeper and have some serious conversation about the vegan journey because it has to be more. This vegan journey has to be more than just what's on your plate. And I'm here to advocate that we start thinking outside the plate. Let's deal with some real vegan issues. Let's deal with issues such as, and I'll be glad to talk about this evening. Let's deal with issues such as you're the only vegan in your family. And when you're listen, let's be real, when you're black, when you're black and you decide to go vegan, there's usually you're usually it. Let's talk about issues such as I'm vegan, but the rest of my family, my spouse isn't vegan, my children aren't vegan. How do I deal with that? Right? The food is the easy part. The food is the easy part. The hard part is the day to day living as a vegan, especially just as everything else, living your life as, I'm not even going to say person of color, as a black person on this journey isn't easy. So I would love to hear two things. One, a few things. First, let me know where you're checking in from so I can shout you out. Two, I would love to hear how are you coping with some of the challenges of this lifestyle. Be it you're the only vegan in your household, um, you're you're vegan and you thought you was going to lose weight, but you're not losing any weight. You're a junk food vegan and you don't know how to kick that habit. Um, I would love to hear some of the challenges that you guys are dealing with. Next week, we're going to talk about weight, being heavy and vegan. How now, to all my non-black watchers and subscribers, hello. But this is definitely going to be directed to talking about the black vegan experience. That's what I'm about. That's what this here channel is about. That's why I'm called the Urban Black Vegan, because our experiences are different from others, you know. And when I say others, I'm including other people of color. Our experience, please understand, our experience is different from others, you know, because usually a lot, especially now, a lot of us are first generation vegans, you know, meaning we're the first one in our family to go vegan. There is no other support within the family structure. So our experience is different from other ethnicities. It's just different. So that's why I'm speaking directly to the black vegan experience. Oh, New York City. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Junk food vegan, veggie bee. Hello, how are you? Checking in from Michigan. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hi from Cape Cod, Michigan. Miss listening to you. Well, Janice, I am back. I'm so excited to be back, and this is my first YouTube live. We're going to be here every every Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7:05. We're going to be here. Hopefully you guys can hear me good, because I'm trying to work out some kinks with the audio and things like that. But like I said, this channel, these discussions are not primarily, directed to the black vegan experience. Now, with that being said, I would love to hear about your challenges. How are you going to level up for 2021 on your vegan journey? Which means, for example, I've been vegan for a while, but this year, every year, no, every day or every year, I try to say, well, what can I do? How can I even do better? Because see, there's people watching. There's family members watching. There are work co-workers. That's when you're out socially, people are watching. What are you doing? For me, I want, at this point in my vegan journey, I want to begin to hold myself accountable to the footprint that I'm leaving. How they say that carbon footprint. Now that also includes my clothes. Where are they coming from? It's so interesting. Recently, I had checked out this podcast that was referring to fast fashion. You know, like H&M, Zara, Primark, those sort of things. And I'm tell you, I'm one that gets down with Primark and H&M. I definitely do that. It's inexpensive. The clothes are stylish. But then again, while I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about the waste that places like Primark and all these fast fashion places create, the waste. They were talking about the inhumane conditions of the workers who actually manufacture the clothes. Now, see, as a vegan, those things concern me because there's only one planet, because I'm on this planet. The health of the planet, the health of others, these things concern me. So this year, I'm trying to make a concerted effort not to consume so much, meaning not to continually buy clothes over and over and over and see those clothes just go into the dump or what have you. I'm making a concerted effort to bypass these fast fashion places because I believe it's not the most vegan thing to do. So my question to you guys is, what are you doing to level up your vegan journey? Does things like the planet, and I'm talking to my black audience, does the environment, Does your community and you, the effect that you're having on it, or the effect that you're not having on it by not doing something, does it bother you? And if it doesn't bother you, have you ever even given it some thought? Now, you've been vegan for a while. Have you even started to give thought to the fact that I'm damaging the environment? I am I'm part of the problem. Because the reason I got into this, because I'm on this journey, and you always say the vegan journey because you're trying to find your way, you're exploring. So as you explore and you start to understand and you start to listen, and you have that daily dose of information that you continually try to feed yourself. Now let me just say this sidebar. You may have this food thing down, right? But on this journey, you start to realize there's more. So for me, I realize all these clothes I'm consuming, where do they come from? It's just like the food. Like, what's in it? Where does it come from? How, is it benefiting me? Is it benefiting my community? Is it benefiting the health of the community, the environment? That's how you think about the food as a vegan. But what about thinking about the clothes you wear? Where do they come from? Who's making them? I mean, it blew my mind to find out the effects of polyester, because which is in a lot of clothes, the effect of polyester has on the environment. It blew my mind to find out the effect of cotton, how toxic the processing of cotton is to the environment. And see, the reason I found this out, this is so interesting. Now, a lot of you guys may have heard of Patagonia, and crazy expensive. They are insanely expensive. Patagonia is for just the most basic of clothes, right? But Patagonia, I'm trying to model my company after them, and here's why. They care about the environment. They care about people. You see, you care about the environment, you automatically, by default, you care about you're taking people into consideration. But you have this Patagonia is crazy. Yes, they're super expensive, but did you know that when you buy a piece of Patagonia, like you buy a Patagonia anything, they will fix and repair it for free? That you can trade in something you've bought from Patagonia? And the reason they do this is to try to lessen the effect of of used clothes and thrown away clothes on the environment. So they produce and create their clothes at a high level in hopes that they last you longer, and then they back it up with like repairs, and you can turn in your Patagonia clothes. They even have a website dedicated where you can buy pre-owned, refurbished Patagonia clothes, because their thing is that if we can recycle, reuse, then we can help the environment. This kind of stuff blew my mind. This is taking my veganism to a whole different level. This is taking my veganism to a whole different level. So, and that's why I want to do this show. How are you guys leveling up your vegan journey? What are you doing? Are you exercise? Are you adding exercise to your vegan journey? Are you um being visual and vocal about your journey in hopes to influence others? Maybe you started a podcast or a YouTube channel in order to try to encourage and inspire others on like, what are you doing? See, being vegan isn't about being selfish, and I call not doing anything, just making sure that you eat right and just saying the hell with everything else, that's being selfish. And I don't believe that being vegan and being selfish is something that goes hand in hand. But what I'm saying is that we have to level up. See, on this channel, in the past, I would do just like any other vegan channel, do things about what kind of, I don't know, how to cook this, on cooking demos. Now, I do a lot of that, especially here in Philly. But with the explosion and the trendiness of being vegan, the explosion, of veganism, especially within the black community, the kind of the acceptance of it, and now that it's trendy and sexy now, which means everybody wants to be everybody wants to be vegan. I was like, yeah, I need to do something else. So that's why I fell back and was like, yo, I let me just see what's going on in this whole vegan landscape, especially with black vegans, the black vegan community. So I decided to do a little bit more. I decided to go to conferences and speak up for the black vegan community, to speak up for the urban community. You know what I mean? Like to really dig into that and take a different route. It's Listen, I would love to have a million subscribers, and please subscribe. I would appreciate that. That would be cool, but that's not the goal. With this vegan thing, I'm trying to be a change agent within my community. And I'm asking you guys, if possible, do the same. Be the agent of change within your community. And that's why we're talking about leveling up our vegan journey to do more than just think about what's on the plate. let's try let's try. Here's a challenge, because I know everyone's into these challenges. And that's cool to a certain extent, but everybody's into water challenges and fasting challenge, and we can talk about all that, because I fast on a daily basis. I do all that stuff. um but here's a challenge. Do more. That's the challenge. Just do more than what you're doing now. All right. I challenge you to do something that's outside of the plate. Do something that does more than just talks about recipes. Listen to, dig into nutrition a little bit more. You know, share your vegan journey somehow. So, what are you doing to level up? Yes, yes, Veggie B. Um, I want you to look up Patagonia. Um, and also you can look up cotton. See, Patagonia, one reason why they're so much more expensive is because they use organic cotton. Now, I know you may have been in a store and seen something that says organic cotton, and you're like, you know what, they're taking this organic thing too far. But no, this is a real, this is a real thing. And then you start to understand that there's some corporations that are designated, I think it's a B Corp. Does they have certain designations because of the fact that their goal is to have less impact on the planet. These are the kind of companies that we should support. You know, so check out Patagonia. I think you will be truly impressed by what that company is doing. You know, so the next time you're in H&M or Primark or Zara. Now, don't get me wrong; their clothes are dope. I mean, I love what they're, the style and everything. But then when you pull back the curtain and you see exactly the effect that these companies are having on the planet, and then you try to okay that with your level of veganism, it's gonna be it's there's friction there, and I was conflicted. It made me stop and think about, what am I doing? There's another level to this vegan journey. So definitely check them out. Let's see if I have any questions here. Okay, I'll take that Spike Lee journey of veganism. Yes, I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on here. I know people are coming and going, but I would love to answer any questions. I recycle. So happy we have the blue. Yes, yes. But Veggie B. Here's the thing. I can put. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out tonight. So we have. Oh my! I didn't know that cotton was. How do you spell that? I started organic garden, then started an herbal medicine. Yes. See, and if you're doing something level up, I'm going to put you on the screen because I really appreciate the fact that you are making those moves. Just imagine if we all was to just do a little bit more than what we do now, just a little bit more, the impact that we can have or ultimately have on our community. That's like maybe starting a garden. People in your neighborhood and your will see that they become curious and maybe ask a question. It sparks interest. That's leveling up. Being part of a community garden, or maybe starting a community garden. That is leveling up what you're doing on your vegan journey. Listen, and the reason I'm doing this live and decided to take this route to really focus on my community and really talk directly to Black vegans. And no, I don't get caught up in that whole people of color. I'm speaking because our experience is so unique to us. And sometimes we're just grouped together with all people of color, and sometimes we shouldn't do that. We should be real specific and not be ashamed or afraid to say I'm speaking to Black folk. And please understand, I hope there are non-Black viewers watching, because I believe you will be able to learn something. You will have to have maybe a fuller understanding of what we're going through. See, a lot of people who are not Black and they become vegan, or they have a whole group of friends that are vegan, that's not our experience. Thank heavens for the internet, or we would really feel alone, because we already feel isolated and alone when we go to family gatherings, because hopefully there's another vegan there that we can connect with. But I know Black vegans that go to family events and bring their own food. I know Black vegans who carry around their own crock pot, keep an instant pot when they in their trunk when they go to family gatherings, because they know that they're going to probably have to prepare their own food. I know vegans. I've done videos and answered questions concerning, well, what do I do when I go to a family event? And I've heard vegans say, well, I usually just don't eat, or I eat before. Isn't that crazy? We have to eat before we even go to the event. That's the kind of experience that most I'm a, I haven't done any scientific study, but I'm going to say most Black vegans have. It's crazy. But so like I said, this is my very first YouTube live. I'm going to be here every Monday at 7:05 to kind of spark conversation, to make you guys think. Next week we're going to talk about being vegan and being fat. Yes, I said fat. I'm not saying you're vegan, and we'll talk about all these cute little pet names that we have. Now, please understand, I may hurt some feelings, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about being vegan and being fat in the Black community. I know it's a touchy subject. And when I say fat, I do include those who call themselves, like, I come from a place of being fat. So please don't get me wrong. I understand what it takes. But I'm talking about those who embrace it, glorify it as some type of lifestyle that's okay. Now, don't get me wrong. You can love yourself, but we want to be healthy. Okay? Now, there's one thing medically you can't, that you're overweight and for whatever reason. But for those who can do something about it, we cannot glorify being unhealthy, which happens in our community. Let's be real. It happens in our community. So we're going to talk about being fat and being vegan, and those who embrace it, which is a lot of our community. Embracing, and when I say embracing, I'm talking about, if you want to consider yourself, we've created all these kind of pet names: thick, chunky, husky, big boned, all these things. But the one thing that we don't want to put out there is that being fat. And we're going to talk all about it. If I hurt some feelings, I hurt some feelings, but this is real. This is the kind of stuff we have to talk about. We have to really dig into it. We have to talk about that there's no benefit of fried anything. That there's no benefit in fried cauliflower, fried what else are people doing? Fried fake shrimp and fried seitan. There's no benefit. That's detrimental to our health. That's not a positive. That is a negative. And that's another thing. If you're embracing this veganism thing and you're saying you don't want to hurt the animals, please don't forget, if you're constantly eating poorly, even as a vegan, you're hurting yourself, and hence you are hurting animals, because we humans are animals. I promised myself and I promised my wife that I wouldn't get so hype. But this is the kind of stuff that gets me hype, gets me a little bit overexcited, gets my energy up. But it is what it is. This channel's gonna be real. I'm hoping people don't get caught up in their feelings. But we have to talk about this stuff, folks. That's why, you'll rarely hear me talking about recipes. That's the easy stuff. Let's talk about the stuff that's most important and most affecting our community. And I'm talking about vegans who are eating poorly, who are dealing with issues. I've seen so many New Year resolutions by vegans, right? That, okay, I want to eat healthy. How can that be a resolution if you're vegan, that your resolution is to eat healthy, when most people's perception of being vegan is that you eat healthy? But your New Year's resolution is to eat healthy. I've seen so many people who have asked me questions. Josh, what can I do? I've been vegan for 8 months, but I'm gaining weight. I've been vegan for 2 years and I'm still gaining weight. I haven't lost any weight. This is the kind of stuff that we have to talk about, people. And if anyone is saying like, oh, you can be fat and healthy, don't, let's not even go there. Let's not embrace that. Let's all be in agreement that being fat is not healthy. And causes problems. Let me say this. If being fat, thick, chunky, husky, big bone, and whatever other pet name that you have for it was healthy, right? If that was healthy, Black people would be the healthiest people on the planet. I'm talking about American Black people. We would probably be the healthiest people on the planet because we're the most chunkiest, thick, big bone, and whatever else you want to call it. That's us. All right? That is us. And I say us because I'm part of this community. I come from a place of being overweight. That's how I found myself to veganism 10 years ago. Well, it'll be 10 years in July. That's how I found my way to this. Yeah, we're going to talk about all of it. Yes, I've been gone, Masad. I've been gone for a minute. I've been gone. That's why I'm back, and that's why I wanted to do this live instead of just jumping back into videos. I need to let people know what this channel is going to be about. Yes, it's going to be highly melanated. It's going to be a bit militant. Okay? And it may just hurt some feelings. But you know what? Sometimes what it is the truth is what hurts feelings. The truth is what hurts feelings. It's not me trying to hurt feelings, but when we face that reality, that truth can hurt. For example, when I was listen, 10 years ago when I was overweight and I decided to change my life on July 4th, 2011, I got up, stood in front of a mirror in my studio, and I took my shirt off. Now, being a big boy, being a fat boy, you rarely want to see yourself. I always try to tell people I was the guy that would go to the pool and get in the pool with a t-shirt on. I was the guy that would go to the beach and keep his t-shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. I was that guy. So it really hurt that night when I got up, stood in front of this mirror, took that shirt off, and looked at myself. I was bawling like a baby. I could not believe what I had let myself become. I love myself, but I did not like what I was seeing in the mirror. And you know why I was crying? Because the truth was hurting me. That truth was hurtful. But sometimes I had to face it in order to do better. It was the pure truth, unadulterated, unfiltered, no t-shirt, right there, big old belly in the mirror. And I faced it and I said, oh my God, I can't believe I've let myself come to this. I couldn't believe that I had let myself, man. So this channel, yeah, there's going to be some truth that's going to be happening. There's there's going to be some feelings hurt. I'm hoping that we can work through some of this truth and just do better. But we have to realize the truth before anything else. So yes, I'm so excited to be back. I've been gone for a minute. This is my first Facebook Live. Facebook Live. I do Facebook on Mondays, but this is my first YouTube Live I've ever done on my channel. So I'm excited. I'm really. I thought I would kind of be here with and no one would check in, but I'm really glad that you guys have checked in. Please be sure to subscribe. I got to make sure I say that so I can get these subscribers up on this channel. But I'm back. Look for videos, and yeah. And we're also going to do a YouTube Live every Monday at 7:05. We'll talk about issues, and we're always going to keep it real. Like I said earlier, it's going to be highly melanated, a little bit militant, and but it's always going to be real. We'll have some fun stuff. We'll talk. We'll do some recipes. We'll try to do a recipe here and there. But for the most part, we're going to talk about real stuff. Let's see what we have here. It says people think plant-based allows us to eat plant junk food and not move our yeah. The better you eat, the more it should lead you to natural movement, whether it's running, yoga, whatever. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. That's why I said that there are levels to this thing. For those who the first level is just to give up the fish, chicken, cheese, dairy. That's level 1. Then you level up to level 2. It's like now I want to make sure that I'm eating whole plant-based foods. That's level 2. You leave all the junk food alone. And some may say even level 3 or level 2.2, whatever you want to call it, was like, let's get some movement in, right? That's how you start to level up. So it's okay if you're going to start, if you're at that point where you just want to start and you start with vegan junk food, that's okay. This is a journey. That's why veganism is always referred to as a journey. We start at one place with a goal to get further on the journey. So if you're at the very beginning and that's where you begin, okay, but please understand, please, that's not where you want to be in the long run. That's not where you're trying to get. When you stop eating meat, chicken, fish, dairy, all that stuff, and you claim to be, well, you're plant-based at that point, right? Right? That you're there. Now it's like, what's next? Are you eating healthy? Yes, you're eating plant-based foods, like when you do things like the Frankenstein burgers. When I say Frankenstein burgers, I'm talking about, the Beyond Burgers, and I don't know, there's a ton of them out there. Beyond Burgers and all that. Those are Frankenstein burgers, okay? Because they're made in the lab in somebody's test tube. Frankenstein. They're monster burgers. And then you start um um so you start there. You don't want to stay there. Because in the long run, that's not going to do your body good. So you want to make sure that you keep progressing. So like, what's the next level up? What are you doing? I know I get on this rant, but I'm trying. All right, we have Bevelyn. How are you, Bevelyn? Let me know where you're checking in from. But she has a question. I'm gonna try to answer the question, and hopefully you guys can also help her because I know I got a lot of vegan veterans out there, um, but I also know that there's a lot of vegan virgins out there too. Those who are just thinking about getting into this thing or just beginning. So Bevelyn says, "Once I want to go vegan, how do I begin?" Now, let me say this: a lot of people a lot of people ask this question and you get a ton of answers. People like to give you some type of meal plan, or they'd say, oh, just start to, do this and that. I always say this: as a former fat boy, when I was trying to change my life as far as being healthy, or getting healthy and trying to overcome diabetes, which I had, I say this: I didn't change. Change didn't come until I started to change my thinking. So Bevelyn, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to go tell you to go clear out your refrigerator. I'm not going to go tell you to go buy a bunch of vegetables, or I'm going to send you a meal plan, or I want to sell you a 14-day go vegan ebook or anything like that. That's all garbage, right? What I would strongly suggest is that you need a detox. You need a detox. Now people say, "Oh yeah, yeah, detox." No, I'm not talking about a physical detox. I don't buy into that crap. Like, "Oh, I'm a detox for 3 days." No, I don't no, I'm not talking about a physical detox. I'm talking about a mental detox because this is what's toxic. All the toxins are up here. What has happened, I'm not sure how old you are, Bevelyn, but what has happened is that our thinking has become toxic. Our thinking has become corrupted, and the way we understand and see food is so clouded and so corrupted that we are so far off track that we don't know how to get back on track. It would be real easy for me to tell you, oh, just eat vegetables and stop eating meat. But your head is not in a space where it understands the benefits. So I always tell people, you need at least a 3 to 5 day detox of your thinking. You need to get rid of the crap that's all bottled up in your head about how food works and understanding food, right? And even understanding what vegan is, because you may want to go vegan, but you have to even understand what being vegan is. What is it about? It's not just about food. That's why I say you need a detox. You need to detox your thinking. You have to have a firm understanding of what being vegan is. It's not just about food. It might start with food. For some people, and a lot of people in our community, black community, it starts with food, but it's not just about food. Understand what veganism is. You can go to my website, urbanblackvegan.com, but you have to understand that you have to start feeding your brain information, substantial information about the vegan plant-based journey. You can do that by listening to lectures, and they're free right online, by Dr. Greger. He's one. He won't charge you anything. He's not going to sell you an ebook or anything like that, or sell you any kind of herbs or spices or magic pills or anything like that. You want to be led by science when it comes to food and understanding why you want these things. And the better your understanding, the easier it will be to transition. Once it's in your head, once your thinking is has been once you detox the way you think and understand and see food, no one will have to tell you how to go vegan. You'll have this understanding. Now, you may need still some help, like, okay, where do I go to get this, or maybe a recipe here and there. But without the understanding, you're just going through the motions. For example, I have a friend of mine. That had the bypass surgery. So they had bypass surgery. They had this bypass surgery, and they lost all this weight. They looked amazing. and then they gained all the weight back. And then you say, like, yo, what happened? This is what happened. They went through a physical transformation, but their thinking was not transformed. They still thought and desired the same foods. Their thinking was still toxic, even though all the weight was gone and all. But that was just a physical transformation. Without the mental transformation, you're just going to fall back. That's why diets don't work, because you're forcing yourself through a physical transformation, but mentally, you're still stuck. Mentally, the toxins are still there and they're just swimming around. All these toxins because you're thinking, because we're fed every single day. Even YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff helps to feed our negative thinking. Not our negative thinking, but helps to feed our thinking that has become so toxic. Just driving down the street and seeing advertisements and all this crap, our thinking has become so toxic that we automatically go to a Wendy's 4 for $4, or without even thinking about how detrimental that is to ourselves and to the environment and to our community, to our family. Yes, that 4 for $4 is detrimental in all those ways. You know what I'm saying? But we don't understand that because our thinking is so toxic that we can't see our way through. So I always tell people, you want to be vegan? Before I give you any recipe, before this is probably why I'm not a vegan coach or anything. So before I give you any recipe, before I sell you something or any of that, I need you to do 3 to 5 days detox. And I'm not talking about a physical detox. I need you to watch documentaries such as Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. That's what changed my life 10 years ago. I need you to check out Dr. Greger. I need you to check out Dr. McDougall. I need you to check out Dr. Esselstyn. I need you to check all these people out. I need you to listen to some of their talks. I need you to read some of their books. I want you to study, show yourself approved before we even think about a recipe. So then when we have a conversation, I know you are detoxing the way you think. Your thinking is becoming cleaner. Your understanding is becoming cleaner. You start to see clearer because you're detoxing. You're thinking. Don't Once you start to detox your thinking, I don't have to tell you to not eat this or try not to eat that. You will start to find understanding, to see clearly. So let me get off my soapbox. But number one, Bevelin, first thing I need you to do is start detoxing your thinking. And I'll give you 3 things you can do immediately to do that. One, I need you to watch the movie or a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. All right. Okay. I need you to do that. 2, I need you to start following. I need you to start following um, Dr. Michael Greger. All right. I just need you to do those 2 things so you can start to understand what food does to you. And 3. Also watch, there's so many, but 3, watch the documentary Forks Over Knives. And listen, you might even have to watch it twice, but I need you to watch those documentaries. I want you to understand what food does to our body. And the reason why I say forks over knives is because they actually have a considerable amount of black doctors and talking heads within that documentary. I was impressed to see that. And also, there's another doctor, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, doing amazing things. He's doing amazing things in Houston. See, the thing is, this is what has to penetrate our thinking. We should have plant-based heroes that we follow, that you can drop them at a dime. Someone wants help, don't just guide them to some kind of cookbook. Don't share some kind of fried cauliflower recipe. We need to direct them to information. We need to help people detox their thinking. Just think it, because that's what it's all about. It's the way we think, and it's the discipline that we have. That's what keeps us on track. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Wornwear.com is Patagonia's used gear site. Refine the search to excellent condition for the best stuff. Yes, this is the kind of stuff that we need to share. And if there's something, and I hope that you guys are helping each other, because I get on these rants. I just hope to spark the conversation, to be the, just to light the fire. And hopefully, if there's something I miss, you guys can talk amongst yourselves, help each other answer some questions. And then, because that's what it's all about. I want this to be about community, like us helping us. Yes, us helping us. Every Monday, we're going to have these community sessions where it's us helping us, trying to help navigate the crazy vegan streets. So thanks, Masab, for that information. See, I like that. I'm so happy that there's others that know about Patagonia, because a lot of us don't. A lot of us just see the price and we're like, yo, I can't do that. But when you're living this vegan lifestyle, or you want to embrace that, I'm asking you to embrace being vegan totally. Be that 360-degree vegan all around. And when I say all around, you're concerned about the health of environment, the health of community, the health of the animals, including the mammals, other people, the health of the planet. Be that 360 vegan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm full with this. I'm living this thing. I'm not just eating this thing. I'm living this vegan thing. A lot of us, especially our folks, a lot of us just want to eat this vegan thing. I'm asking you to live this vegan thing. Yes. Yes. Guys, if you have resources that we can share with other folks that can help them on their journey, please post them. Let's post them. You know what? And please understand, this is a happy place. We're not trying to I'm hoping that we can just help each other. Because at the end of the day, none of us have this whole thing figured out. We're all trying to figure this thing out. But we can do it. We can do it. So let me take this opportunity to say, welcome to tonight's show. My goal is to go for about an hour or so. And this is the first one. Every Monday at 7:05. We're going to do this live. We're going to talk about vegan issues. Next week, we're going to talk about being fat and being vegan. It's going to be raw vegan conversation. That's what this is about, raw vegan conversation. Um, and I'm hoping that you guys will join me. I hope that you buckle up, because it may be a bumpy ride for some. See, truth can be bumpy. Truth can be kind of like, oh, that hurt. Oh, that was a little rocky. The whole truth ride, you know, it can be a little rocky. But I'm gonna tell you this: it's always gonna be truth, and it's gonna be based in fact. We're gonna talk about then we'll talk about food. But see, way we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about food in the sense of, like, I don't do oil, no black seed oil, no fried foods. Let's talk about why. What's the benefits? We'll talk about that as well. Yeah, I'm really excited about being back here on YouTube, finding my rhythm. You know, I know there's a ton of YouTubers out here doing this vegan thing, and I just don't want to be like the rest of them. I want to have a bigger voice. I want to have a voice that's a little bit more substantial. I want to have a channel that you come to and it's not just about what's on your plate. I'm gonna do recipes, but I don't want it to be solely about recipes. Like how many chickpea recipes can there be? How many how to what I eat in a day recipes can there be? Let's do something with some substance. Yes, you guys are coming through. Talk about it. The China Study by Dr. Campbell. Talk about it. Now that's a big book, but that's the kind of book that you should just have on your shelf. If you're going to act like if someone wants to give a vegan a gift, give them the gift of the China Study. Give them that book. Yes, I love this. Yes, Steph, I love that. Okay, Steph says, "Can you give any tips for a family that's in the process of transitioning?" Okay, and that comes from Shay. Yes, yes, I can. Shay, I'm gonna always go back to detoxing the way we think, and this is great that the whole family is trying to transition because I believe that's when you have everyone kind of on board and you're making that transition. This is when, especially now when we're all locked down, this is when we can all gather together to watch a documentary. This is when everyone can download um, uh, like apps from Forks Over Knives. This is when we can all grab Dr. Greger's app. I think it's the 7 a day. He gives you so you can keep track of the veggies, the fiber, and all that stuff that you're doing on a daily basis. This is when the whole family can get educated. You know what I mean? Where everyone can engage in challenges, like with the family. Like for water is essential and we have to do it. And haven't been the best on water, but you can kind of like set that as a family challenge just around water. I think it's amazing when you have the whole family, but you have to continue to reinforce with information, not with trying to find the latest recipe, with information. So you make sure you're feeding their stomachs, make sure the family is getting fed physically, but make sure they're also getting fed mentally. Like watch that documentary together as a family. Check out nutritionalfacts.org, the information that comes daily. Make sure the whole family understands the benefits of fiber. Make sure the whole family understand that there's no fiber in meat. And what's the number one thing that we're all lacking? Black people, white people, the most people are lacking the number one nutrient that most of us are lacking? Fiber. It's not protein, it's fiber. You can like meat has no fiber. So but we have to be educated and understand that. A problem that a lot of people have is that they can't move their bowels. I have family members who tell me that they don't move their bowels for a day or two. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's not normal. That's not normal. Even if you're vegan and you're telling me you don't move your bowels as much as you eat, meaning if you eat 3 times a day, you should really be going 3 times. I'm not talking about number one, I'm talking about number two. Because the food shouldn't just sit. It shouldn't just sit in there. You got to keep it moving. And the one reason why it doesn't move is because you don't take in enough fiber. If a vegan tells me that, oh, I don't really go to the bathroom like I should, my thing is, one, do you have a medical condition? Two, why don't you eat enough fiber? You're not eating enough fiber. It's like basic stuff. So if a family is transitioning, we should get the family to start understanding some of these principles, some of these basic principles of the body. The body just can't hold on to waste. It can, and that's problematic. It needs to move it. But we have to help make sure that it moves. Yes. Oh, game changers. Yes. Athletes, but not only athletes, we all should check out Game Changers. How could I forget Game Changers? Definitely put that on the list. You can, you know what? You can really begin to detox the way you think by just watching these documentaries. And I'm so glad that you guys are posting these documentaries. No, I'm not going to lead. No, none of these documentaries have graphic pictures. They're okay. They're cool for the family to watch. There's no graphic pictures of animals being slaughtered, or they're not trying. I don't want to scare you to veganism. I don't want to scare you healthy. Well, the doctor do that if you continue on the same track. Doctors will scare you to the point you're just like, I gotta do something different. I'm not here to do that. I'm not saying look at these animals being slaughtered or people having limbs amputated because of the fact that they refuse to stop drinking or smoking or eating poorly. Game Changers is a family friendly documentary that I wish my whole family was going vegan or trying to transition, because that would be one that's on the list. Detox that thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for adding that. I appreciate you adding to the conversation. I really do. We're going to go for a few more minutes here. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try my best to keep this to an hour. So it's 8:15. About 8:15, we'll wrap this up. But please keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. If anyone knows of any documentaries that could be beneficial to people who are transitioning, or even for those who are thinking about transitioning, or who are thinking about taking this step, let's share some of that information as far as some documentaries or things that they can read or people they can follow that's going to be of substance. People who are going to like feed their thinking. You can feed your body, but let's feed that thinking with like nutritional information, like information that's going to truly benefit and help people where they are. Oh yes, yes. Dr. Neil Barnard, amazing. He is out here doing the work. Now another way, because we talked about YouTube, and we've talked about, what else have we discussed? Oh, a lot of documentaries. Now one that I love to consume is podcasts. Now Dr. Neil Bernard, also, well, it's not his podcast, but it's the organization that he's with, slips my mind at the moment. But they have a podcast called the Exam. The host of the podcast lost like 250 pounds. All right. So this is amazing. So if you do podcasts, which I do, the podcast is amazing because you can just listen to a podcast while you're exercising or while you're driving a car, or but the thing is, you keep on digesting this information. Just keep it coming. Just keep pouring it in, pouring it in. And before you know it, your thinking will start to change. So the exam room, and you can find that on wherever you listen to your podcast, iTunes or what have you. But I would definitely put that into heavy rotation. And the fact now that they've been going for a few years now, there's tons of episodes. And the good thing about listening to older episodes on the exam room on podcast is the fact that all the information is always good. It never goes out of date. That's what I'm trying to say. You can listen to an episode from last year. Well, not 2020, but from 2019, and it will still be relevant today because it's all based in fact. It's not someone's opinion. These are scientists, these are doctors, researchers who are talking specifically about living a healthy lifestyle and really breaking it down. Yes, Rich Roll podcast. That's another one. You guys are coming through. I appreciate this, and hopefully, this will be a can serve as a resource for others. This can serve as a resource for others who are black and vegan, want some help, and want to know the help is coming from a sincere place. You know. Yes. Bite size vegan. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes. Keep them coming, everybody. I so appreciate you guys helping me out here because I'm a one man show over here. And if we can get good positive information out to folks, resources that can help people, we can. I truly believe. Now I know this is might be vegan pie in the sky, but I do believe that we can change our community if we can equip people with information, with usable information. This is awesome. I'm really appreciating all of you guys joining me tonight. This is the first show, but we're gonna have a ton. We're gonna have a ton of shows. Then every join me every Monday at 7:05. We talk all things vegan. It's going to be the perspective is highly melanated and it is sometimes militant. And I'm just going to ask you guys to buckle up, because sometimes it might get a little bumpy. Hopefully, you don't get caught up in your feelings because we're talking about it all. Being black and vegan, living as a black vegan in America, especially in the urban community. One thing I would love to address in some upcoming episodes, I want to address this whole thing about living in a food desert, which is usually always the whole label of. Now we're not going to get into this tonight because I know some people are. This can be a little touchy, but that's okay because we're gonna touch the third rail of a lot of different issues, and it's going to spark some conversation, which is the goal. But that whole thing that it just bothers me. That whole talk about the whole talk about living in a food desert. It was just always assigned to black folks all the time. We're going to talk about that because yeah. Yep. But this is the first episode of the first live. This is my first live, and I'm so excited. I can't. I thought I was going to be here. I'd be on here for about 15 minutes, and I just assumed that maybe about five. Maybe the goal was maybe I can get five or a few people just to get anybody to watch. So this is blowing my mind that that so many people are jumping on board and joining me tonight. I'm just so glad to kind of reignite or restart this whole my YouTube page, and yeah, so I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Okay, I seen this, and I'm gonna tell you guys. I should have included him as well. Gary Yourofsky is a beast. He may not be a brother, but he is talking real. If you want to do talk about more than just the food, if you want an understanding of what being vegan is, a reason to be vegan, please go to YouTube. Well, you're in YouTube now. After I'm done, type in this name, Gary Yourofsky. That's Yourofsky. If you're not mesmerized by one of his talks, I I don't I don't know. Gary is part of my ongoing detox, meaning, like, yes, I've been vegan for a while, but I continually listen to people who will kind of keep me inspired. I listen to people to to help myself detox the way I think, because sometimes you know how people say, "Oh, I fell off." Only way that can happen is because of the fact that you haven't committed to ongoing detoxification. Let's put it that way. You have to constantly continue to feed, because you're constantly being fed a lot of crap, a lot of garbage from friends and family, from the community about, oh, you shouldn't be vegan. You're constantly being tempted. So this is why we have to constantly make sure that we're feeding our thinking and our understanding. Even though you think you have it, you have an understanding of why you're vegan, but you have to constantly keep going back and revisiting and detoxing. So you don't have these episodes of, oh, I fell off last week. So thank you, sister, for putting Gary's name up there. There's so many vegan heroes out here, and that's why I really am so glad that you guys are adding to the conversation, because I don't know it all. No one knows it all. There's bits and pieces that we can gather from others that can help our journey be just a little easier. It's not easy because of our thinking is so toxic and so corrupted. It's not easy to rewire that. Yes. Gary will, I love this comment. Thank you, sis. She says, Crimson Spice 72 says, I love that, brother. Gary will make you find your conscious. Oh, man, that is so right. Gary, listen, if you're not woke, you will be after you listen to, usually only takes like a few minutes into one of his talks. But if you're not woke, you will be after you listen to Gary a little bit. Okay, so let's read this comment. I love this too. Neoteric Phoenix. It says, I am so happy more black people are normalizing veganism for us. Break the stereotype. Yes, break the stereotype. And I will say that it is refreshing that once you're amongst other black folks, that when you mention that you're vegan, you're not looked at as being odd. It's something that a lot of people have a little bit of an understanding, even though the understanding may be limited, but they do have an understanding that you don't eat meat, fish, chicken, dairy. They have that understanding. Whereas before the black vegan craze, before it was like, oh, you're trying to be white. I don't really hear that anymore, because one thing that we can do when black folks decide to take a hold of something, we really take hold of it and we own it. And then eventually we end up mastering it. Just like sports, it was one time black people weren't even allowed to play basketball. And then they let us get in there. And then before you know it, we own it. And then before you know, we own the next sport, and then the next sport, and then in football. Just like now, even with football. At one point, oh, being the quarterback was for white people. They didn't think that we could do it. But now you see this trend where most of the quarterbacks or most teams are turning to black quarterbacks because we own it. We 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 take it to another level. That's what's happening with this vegan thing. That's why I'm so excited to be in the midst of what's happening, because we're starting to own it, and then we're going to level it up. That's why tonight's show was, what are you doing to level it up? Let's not just stop where we are with just consuming a bunch of vegan junk food. Let's figure ways that we can level this thing up. And not only that, one of the biggest myths is that, you know, being vegan or plant-based is for white people. We've been doing this for a minute. We can go all the way back to Haile Selassie. We've been doing this for a minute. Now, it might be something we may have suppressed it for whatever reason through the generations, but see, this thing is coming full circle. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm loving the fact that you guys are sharing information because that's what it's about. We need to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Are some of our veteran vegans out there need to talk to some of the virgin vegans out there. We need to talk to each other. Let's share these resources. Keep it going. Keep commenting. Share the resources. That's how we're gonna own this vegan space. But what's up, YouTube? I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited I have um, so many people commenting, sharing like valuable resources, sharing their experiences, and I'm hoping you guys are doing that. And feel free also to list like what part of the world you're in, because sometimes you may feel there's vegans out here that might feel like they're alone, like they're doing this thing all by themselves, especially black vegans. Sometimes, maybe not so much now. I think there's still a lot of that because when I started, it was like, you're what? I'm the only vegan showing up at events, and oh, I'm just so glad that things are changing, even mainstream. Like you can't even go to a restaurant now without them at least having the Frankenstein burger, aka Beyond Burger or Impossible Burger. I just call all that stuff Frankenstein meat. You now without them at least having a vegan option. Now, granted, places like which I could never understand that they'll still sell you a vegan burger with whatever that burger is and put on none of that. The only way you can really eat at like a Burger King health includes the planet, includes the animals, includes our community. But sometimes it takes a little time for us to get there. But we can get there. Yes, we can definitely get there. So guys, it is 8:29, 8:30. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this show from 7:05 to 8:30 because I think we've had some great conversation. Um and I think we've added enough resources within the comments for people who watch later. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Make sure you catch me. You can also catch me on Facebook every Monday at 7:05. Just go to the Urban Black Vegan page and be sure to subscribe. Be sure to watch out for new, fresh videos that hopefully that's going to make you think. So I just want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to next week where we'll talk about being overweight and being vegan. The consequences. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? The whole 9 yards. So until next time, vegan family, this is Uncle Vegan Joshua Black, the Urban Black Vegan. Until next time.